And wow, time flies when you're having fun. It's August already. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about all the changes going on with Social Security and Medicare. We've got about 9 different things going on. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ed Weir. I ran the third business Social Security office in the country. I've helped millions of people out with Social Security, Medicare, retirement, spouse benefits, survivor benefits, all the rest of it. So make sure you subscribe, like, and all that kind of stuff, so this information goes out to all the people that need help, all your friends and family that are getting benefits. Let's make sure they're getting all the benefits they are entitled to. All right, so got about 9 different things we're going to talk about today, and how these this is a live broadcast, how these things work as I do a topic of the day, and today is August 2024 updates. I've got about 9 different things I want to talk about. It shouldn't take that long. I'll go through them rather quickly. Just kind of give you an overview of what's going on out there in the world. Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid should take about 10 minutes. And then I open the floor up. So if you're watching this on a recording, you're saying, oh my gosh, this guy talks for an hour. I talk for about 10 minutes and then I answer questions for the rest of the time. I guess that involves talking, but so if you have questions, make sure you type them into chat, and doesn't have to be about Social Security alone. It could be about Medicare, Medicaid, survivor benefits, disability, whatever the case may be. All right, enough stalling. Let's get into it. Number one is, if you've seen the papers in your particular part of the country, Medicare Advantage plans, companies are leaving areas. They're reducing their area footprint. I avoid mentioning particular company names. I've got a team that helps people with Medicare Advantage, Medicare supplements, even burial insurance, because that $255 burial insurance from Social Security just doesn't do it. So I was tired of people doing the wrong thing out there, not doing people correctly, bad customer service, bad follow-up, and all the rest of it. So I went ahead and said, forget about it. I'll put my own team together. So I've got my own team that can help you with all that. But I like to say as neutral as possible. So I'm not going to I never mention company names. But if you're living in a particular area, we're looking at so far, I know Missouri, they're going to lose about 30,000 people in Missouri are going to lose a plan that they're part of. That company is moving out. In the Southeast, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, there are a couple of companies, large companies that that you just might go to a local pharmacy named by that company, that are going to be moving out of those particular areas. So even one of the CFOs of that particular company says, hey, yeah, we're going to lose about 10% of our clients, and fine with that, because they want to get back to profitability. So they're going to pull out of areas that they're just not making enough money from. A lot of rural areas, country, desert. So if you live in a big city, you might be okay, but you should definitely still check your plan coming October. And how will you know your company, you're losing your plan, is in September. They are mandated by the government. These companies are mandated to send out what's called an ANOC, an annual notice of change. So next month, you're going to receive a letter in the mail. Do not throw it away, because if you don't take action on it, you go to the doctor in January and the doctor says, yeah, you don't have health insurance. This plan was canceled, December 31st at midnight. So please make sure you check up on that, and you don't lose your health insurance starting January 1st. If you need help with that, I've got a team that can help you out. All right. Number two is Part D uncertainty. They're part of the Inflation Reduction Act. There was an attempt to reduce catastrophic out of pocket from $8,000 to $2,000. And comparable coverage. If you're currently receiving health insurance from current work, your HR department should, every year they send you a letter that says, okay, you're over 65 years old, you're entitled to Medicare, but you don't need Medicare if you have health insurance from current work, if that current health insurance from work is credible coverage. So they can't give you a really terrible health insurance and then, so you can avoid Medicare. It has to be comparable. And the issue this year is the Part D. It looks as though CMS made a ruling, and then they kind of went back on their ruling because it caused a lot of confusion. So super long story short, the new policy just came out a couple of days ago. I don't want to go through all the details on that because something else might happen and we still have a little bit of time. So I'm going to keep you update on that. But long story short, watch out for your letter from your HR if you have health insurance from work. It will tell you you're good, your pharmaceutical coverage, your drug coverage from your current plan from work is good. You don't have to go sign up for Part D alone. Because remember, if you don't sign up for Part D or Part B of Medicare when you're supposed to, then you are penalized for the rest of your life. So make sure you don't get that penalty. Number 3, update for August 2024. I did a longer video on this, but it's getting easier to file for disability benefits from Social Security. They, rather than having to go back and look at your history, work history, and recount your work history for the previous 15 years, they reduced it to only 5 years. And when I worked at Social Security, I've taken hundreds of thousands of applications, and it was always tough to say, okay, where did you work 10 years ago? And did you stoop or crawl, or how long did you walk? And it was always a nightmare. So luckily they shortened that to only 5 years. And they've gotten rid of a lot of jobs that are, how Social Security does it is disability is your inability to work. But it's not necessarily your current job. They look at other jobs supposedly in the market, and some of the jobs they had listed were just not non-existent anymore. So they got rid of a lot of those positions. It's like, okay, well, you can't be a mechanic anymore, but you can be a telephone operator, the one with the cables and stuff you used to see in the old 1930s, TVs. Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. But they got rid of that, made it easier to file for disability. I did 3 or 4 videos. If you're looking, you or your family, friends looking to file for disability, make sure you watch those, and it'll give you all kinds of tips, tricks, and secrets on how to file for disability and improve your chances of getting approved. Improve your chances. Number 4, congressional budget. I did a video on this about a week ago. A congressional committee appropriations committee sent it to Congress, about $500 million of cuts to Social Security customer service. These are the people at your local Social Security office that are there to help you get your benefits. I know it's, people say, oh, well, not so much. Well, that's actually their job, is to help you get your benefits. Again, I ran the 3rd busiest office in the country. I think we did a pretty good job, but we were way understaffed in the computer system. And it was just, yeah, anyway. And yes, there's some bad employees out there, just as every company. But right now, Social Security is dealing with a 27-year low in terms of staffing. If this budget passes, it'll be a 50-year low in staffing. And there's going to be so many people that are going to lose benefits, because if you can't access your benefits, you lose your benefits. So this is essentially a kind of a end run kind of a benefit cut. So please, let's watch out for that. I'll keep watching Congress and see what happens with that cut. Number 5, you probably have received an email from Social Security to update your My SSA, the My Social Security account. They're making it kind of easier to get in there, but more robust in terms of security. So if you set up your account more than about 3 years ago, you'll probably have to go in there and set it up again. But be careful. Anytime the government does anything, there are bad actors out there that kind of latch onto it and send similar emails. So be careful when you get an email. There are emails and stuff coming out from Social Security, but again, a lot of people, bad actors out there from all over the world, kind of send an email that looks like Social Security. But you can always just go into ssa.gov and then change your login information. And why do you do that? Number 1 is, if you go in there and set up an account, it's more and more difficult for someone else in the world to go in there, pretend to be you and set up an account. So it's very important that you set up your own account. And number 2, why do you set up an account? Number 1 reason is you go in there to make sure your earnings are correct. What happens every year when you file your taxes, you notify the IRS. The IRS notifies Social Security. This is how much this person paid. And that's how they determine your benefit amount. So please reach out to your kids and grandkids and nephews and nieces and cousins and all them and say, make sure you check your account. Too many people, 20 years ago, they didn't check their account and they have missing earnings, and now their check is not going to be right for the rest of their life. They've lost hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars because they didn't check their account. So make sure you do that. All right. Number 6 is, yes, 2025 is going to be the big year for Medicare Part D and Medicare Advantage, because there's so many changes. The Inflation Reduction Act, the CMS, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Medicare is going to start paying these Medicare, particularly the Advantage companies, less. So that's why they're pulling out. And there's a bunch of other things, kind of a perfect storm. So 2025 is going to be the big year that if you've never checked your Medicare Advantage plan before, now is the time to do it in October. Look out for your broker agent, but be careful. One of the things that did pass, which was very good, I'm sure you all love this, is that CMS Medicare is got y'all's word. Y'all complained, I have too in this channel, that you're receiving way too many Medicare calls, particularly when you turn 65, and then obviously in October and stuff. And from people that, just continue to call it. People get 20, 30, 40 calls a day. So the government came in, government's good sometimes. They came in and says, hey, you Medicare insurance brokers and agents, if this person goes on a Facebook and tells you that you can contact them, then you can contact them. But what happens is you do that on Facebook or wherever, and then they contact you and they don't make the sale, they don't enroll you. Then what they do is I paid $35 to get this person's information. I just lost $35 because they didn't enroll. They sell that information for $1 or $2 or $10 to someone else, and that person sells it to someone else, and now that's where you get 1,000 calls. So the government came down and said you can't do that anymore. And there are call centers, big call centers somewhere in the country, typical stereotypical call centers, big buildings with hundreds of people in there calling people day and night, harassing them. That was their game plan. That was their MO. That was their business plan, is to, buy these cheap leads and harass people and stuff. Because of that law passing, that regulation passing, a bunch of the call centers are have closed down. So if you changed your plan last year, 2 years, 3 years from now, and say, well, I'll just call that same person, you might get this phone has been disconnected. They might be out of business. So if you need help, reach out to us. I've got the link in the description. You just click on that. And it also has a place in there. You just click on the little link. It's a link tree thingy. And then you put in there, it says one-on-one Medicare help. And then there's an option that says, hey, I'm good now, but put me on your list for October. And we'll reach out to you in October and make sure you're getting everything you're entitled to. Get all your benefits, and no surprises. Surprises are not good, except for your birthday and Christmas and stuff like that. Number 7, people are continuing to lose Medicaid. Medicaid is kicking people off left and right. And a lot of the times, unfortunately, they're doing it incorrectly. Medicaid is the state program. It's a welfare-based health insurance. You have Medicare that you sign up through Social Security Administration, and then the Medicaid through the state. And you can't have both. Many people have both, Medicare and Medicaid. But unfortunately, a lot of people are losing Medicaid. And when they lose Medicaid, if they also have Medicare, they usually have a Medicare Advantage dual eligible plan. So if you're losing Medicaid, or they're downgrading your Medicaid, then you're probably going to lose your Medicare Advantage dual eligible plan, and you'll need to find a regular plan before it's too late, before you walk into your doctor's office and they say, well, this plan is null and void. So make sure you reach out to someone you know and trust, or one of my team. Number 8, Supreme Court cases. I did a video on this. Supreme Court came down on the Chevron ruling that agencies can't make their own regulations anymore. It has to go through the court system. You may agree with that, disagree with that, whatever the case may be, but the system that we've had has been essentially the same system for 40 years. Yes, it's not always great, but everything has changed now. So there's going to be a lot of changes. Some cases, I talked about 3 different cases that are already winding its way through the courts. So there's going to be many, many more. So there's going to be, Wall Street is going to try to, again, they've been trying to get that $2.7 trillion trust fund. They're going to continue to go after that. Medicare insurance companies, our health insurance companies are going to fight and try to get changes that will benefit them. And I will be watching all of those. and making sure you're getting everything you're entitled to. So make sure you subscribe. And obviously, you can't talk in August here without this eternal election that has been going on for years. It seems like we're always in an election season. The election, promises, promises, promises by candidates. I did a video comparing Harris and Trump in terms of Social Security a couple, 3 days ago. So if you're interested, if one of your decisions is based on Social Security, make sure you watch that. And we will eventually, yes, the election season will actually end, and we will get a new president, and I will keep up on it, and any type of policies that actually come through, I will keep you updated on it and make sure you get everything you're entitled to. All right, I didn't do too bad. I was about 5 minutes too long on that. I apologize, but a lot of stuff happens here. And let's go ahead and jump into the questions. It can be about anything and everything. Let me go ahead and get my little thingy set up here. All right. Are there Advantage companies in California leaving? I haven't seen any official words yet on California, but there are even if they're not leaving your particular area, because California has a huge population. So those companies are able to make, pretty good money in California. But the particular plans, the extra benefits and everything within those particular plans, yes, they're talking about those being reduced across the board. All those extra dental and vision and, OTC, the over-the-counter cards and stuff like that. Those are definitely, the companies are trying to make more money because they're getting less money from Medicare. And then there's the Part D thing that may or may not happen. We're not exactly sure what's going to go on with that. But the companies are being squeezed. And I don't know if it's called squeezing. The CEO can't afford the size of yacht he wanted. Let's say that. So they're trying to get more money out of the system. And so they're going to cut back on benefits rather than CEO pay and all the rest of it. Company buybacks. And anyway, all right. Okay. I'm currently on COBRA and will be off next year when on Medicare. My medications are expensive because I'm a diabetic. I'm concerned that I will have greater costs than COBRA. Yeah, I don't think anything is more expensive than COBRA. But remember, if you are 65 and you were supposed to sign up for Medicare, COBRA is not credible coverage. So you have to sign up for Medicare at 65 unless you have health insurance through current work. And COBRA is not current work. So if you have health insurance from current work, your employer has 20 or more employees, it's either your company, your health insurance, or your spouse's health insurance, then you don't have to sign up for Medicare Part B. I just did a video yesterday on scare tactics people use to, so say, hey, you have to sign up for Part B. No, you don't. Not if you have health insurance from work and 20 employees and yada, yada. And you're happy with it. But unfortunately, if you're Liberty 1776, if you're 66 years old and you were supposed to sign up for Medicare last year and you haven't because you've had COBRA for the last year, unfortunately, you're going to be penalized 10% for every 12 months you didn't. And you won't be able to sign up until the general enrollment period, which is January. And then your Medicare will start February 1st. That's a change that happened about a year or so ago. In terms of when your Part B starts, prior to the regulation change, when you signed up in January, February, March, your Part B would start in July. They changed that. Now it will start the next month. So that was a good change. Kim, my disabled daughter collects under her deceased father's record and gets both Medicare and Medicaid. If she collects under my retired husband's Social Security, would she lose her Medicaid? It really depends on how much she's going to receive. Medicaid is a welfare-based program. And if she's only getting $1,000, $1,500 a month or so, then shouldn't be an issue depending on your state. But if all of a sudden she gets $3,000, $2,000, then again, Medicaid is a welfare-based system, a means-tested system. Ed, on Original Medicare and Plan B, I also supplement plan. If my financial situation has changed, I can no longer afford my premiums. What should I do to keep my Medicare and benefits? Are there any alternatives? Yeah. So when you original Medicare, let's fill people in here. When you have original Medicare Part A and Part B, you sign up at 65 or when you stop working. Perfect. That's what you're supposed to do. But there's a lot of gaps in Part A and Part B. The biggest one is the Part B gap. So it's that Medicare covers 80%. So if you have a $100,000 operation, they'll pay 80%, but you have to pay the other $20,000 out of pocket. So that's why people get a Medicare supplement or a Medicare Advantage. Medicare supplements, no networks, no pre-authorizations, but there is, cost for that. There's a monthly premium. Medicare Advantage, a lot of those plans are zero premium, but there's, networks and all the rest of it. So it really depends on your particular situation. Reach out to someone and trust, or reach out to us. We can go through all the options for you. But if you can't afford your premiums anymore, one option, if you're healthy, and depending on what state you're in, you can try to find a cheaper Medicare supplement plan. If you have a G, usually you're able to save about 20% by moving to an N. But for Medicare supplements, it's the only health insurance pretty much that you have to be healthy to switch. They need to change the law on that, but they haven't yet. Anyway, so you can go from a G to an N or stay in a G and just try to find a cheaper company in your area. Reach out to us and we can help you find one. You can do that any time of the year. If there ain't anything out there, then the only option is to switch to a Medicare Advantage plan, those zero premium plans, which, again, I wish everybody could do a Medicare supplement, but they can't. So the reality is over 50% choose a Medicare Advantage plan, which is good. But there's a lot more extra work you have to do. Every year you have to check those because those plans are only good for 1 year. When you get a Medicare supplement, G or N, you're pretty much done. People keep those forever, unless they were looking for a cheaper plan later or switching from G to N. But for Medicare Advantage, you have to keep up on those every year because they're only good for 1 year. People always say, I've had the same plan for 3 years. No, you haven't, because this plan has only been in existence since January 1st. It might have the same name and you have the same card as you did last year, but all of the underlying coverage has changed in terms of how much it's going to charge you for a hospital and MRI and CT and specialist and all the rest of it. So you have to keep up on those. So let's see. What do you mean you will get penalized? What is the penalty? Yes, Didi. Hey, what's up, Didi? So if you don't sign up for Part B at 65, if you have health insurance from work, that's fine. But if you don't sign up for Part B, Part A is free. The Part A of Medicare, the hospitalization. Part B covers the doctors. If you don't sign up for Part B at 65, and then 2 years later, you walk into the office, Social Security, and says, yeah, I want to go ahead and get Part B, you're going to get penalized 20% for the rest of your life. So if like this year, the monthly premium for Part B is $174.70. So 10%, you're going to get penalized $17 and some change every month for the rest of your life. So if you're 24 months late, that's 20%. 3 years late, that's 30%. So Lee, my ex-husband is 5 years younger than me. I am thinking of getting Social Security at 62 and then wait till I'm 67 to get my full half ex-spouse benefits. Is it possible? It used to be, but not so much anymore. It's called deemed filing. So when you file for your benefits at 62, when your husband, even if that person hasn't filed for benefits, when they turn 62, you can file for benefits on their record. So it's called independently entitled divorced spouse. So go ahead and file for your own benefits. You have to file for your own benefits first. And then when your husband turns 62, then file for the independently entitled divorced spouse benefits. Hit that like button on the way here. Yes, please. I am getting robocalls for the last 2 days. Yeah. They're not supposed to be doing that. But well, it actually starts it's supposed to kind of start already in September, kind of roll it out. But there's, Medicare to sell Medicare, help people with Medicare Advantage, Medicare supplement plans, Part D plans, and stuff. It's super, super regulated in terms of the sales tactics. One example is you ever go into like a shopping center, Walmart or whatever, and you see the little table there that says "Ask me about Medicare," right? And the person is just sitting there staring off into space. And all you salespeople out there and says, "Wow, this person is terrible at sales. They should be standing up and saying hello to people and stuff like that." They can't. It's illegal. They would lose their license. So they can't talk to you until you talk to them. So until you say, "Hey, what about Medicare?" Then they can talk to you. But until you do that, and they can't come knock on your doors, they can't leave stuff at your door. But in terms of calling you, up until now, it's been, yeah, I bought this lead off of this person. This, 400 other people have your phone number and stuff, and they're calling you. But now it's changed to, if you tell one person to call you, then that person will call you. That's way we've always done it. So if you click the little form, the little thing there, and you tell us to call you, then we will call you. But yeah, we don't share that information with anybody, because we ain't going to call you if you don't call us first. What are the yearly reviews all about? The yearly reviews, I wonder what that is about. Are we talking about CDRs? Are you living overseas? Yeah, let me know what program you're receiving. Brenda, I received a short-term disability post-surgery from the employer this year. Will that money count towards the $22,320 limit? Nope. That is not considered earned income. Whether you're receiving early retirement or disability, doesn't matter. That's not earned income. Social Security needs a serious overhaul. How was this organization originally developed? 1935 by FDR. Who had the authority? FDR. Was it just made up? The years have passed away and Americans are owed years of interest. Yep, we get, let me see here. Let me pop this up here real quick. The trust fund, 2.7 trillion in the trust fund, and interest this year, or for last year, got $63 billion in interest from the trust fund. So yes, been there, done that, way ahead of you. All right, let's see. Any reason for me to apply for survivor benefits when I make too much money to collect? No. I am 64. My full retirement age is 2027. I plan to apply for a few months that year since I can make 66,000 before. Yeah, there's no reason to start your survivor benefits if everything's just going to be withheld anyway. So all right, since on my Social Security online account, it says I will get 2850 if I were to become disabled. Is that number really accurate? It depends on how old you are right now. So 2850 is basically your benefit amount at your full retirement age. So if you're 50 years old and you're looking at it, and this is a projected, 17 years in the future, then so the system makes a lot of assumptions. But if you're, 63, 64, 65, it's probably close. I'm on Social Security and will drop my COBRA when I'm 65 next year. Okay. It's the Part D cost I'm concerned with. Okay. So yeah, so you're not 65, so COBRA is not an issue. All right. Take and took. Thank you very much for looking out. Let's see. I am currently working and will be 65 in December. Do I still need to sign up for Part A and or Part B? Not necessarily. Yeah, if you're going to continue working and you have health insurance from work, and your employer has 20 or more employees, and you like that insurance, no, you don't have to sign up for it all. If you're currently receiving monthly benefits, they will sign you up for it automatically, send you your card, and you just refuse Part B, and don't waste $174. And then when you turn 70, 75, 80, and you stop working and stop receiving health insurance from work, then you go ahead and sign up for Part B, and there's zero penalty. Don't have to pay a penalty at all. Let's see here. In reference to the divorced spouse question earlier, if he doesn't turn 62 until she is 67, she can receive her own Social Security from 62 to 67, then add ex-spouse at 67. Correct? Yes, 100%. You got it 100% correctly. Program associated with SSDI for the blind. Okay. I'm not sure what the question is there. Is that part of an earlier question? I can't see the earlier question. Sorry. Ed, what do you mean about if Social Security bill passes and they cut employees? And I think you said if we can't access our benefits, we will lose our benefits. Yeah, that's I did a video on this on how to destroy Social Security. It's been around for 90 years, and Wall Street and the interests that want those trillions of dollars of benefits money, they have tried to privatize it outright. They were against it from the beginning. 1936 immediately jumped against it. They've tried again many years ago, but the people that want to get rid of Social Security have determined that it's going to be difficult to just privatize it overnight. So they're playing the long game, and they're building mistrust into the system and telling people, hey, it's bankrupt. All the money you're going to illegal immigrants. It's going to Ukraine. It's stolen, and all this other BS that's 100% incorrect. I talk about these in my videos. So they're trying to erode trust in the system. That's one way. And another way is to just make customer service so it's so terrible that you just give up and say, you know what, forget about it. Wall Street can do better. And they're like, yeah, we won. That was our plan. So always think about who benefits when you believe something, right? When you believe Social Security is going bankrupt and it's useless, then who benefits, when you think that way. So this is another attempt to do that, is to cut the funding for Social Security. Will put them at the customer service is terrible now. Just wait. If this passes, customer service is going to get a lot worse. And then again, these employees are there to help you get your benefits. And if you call and nobody picks up, or if you set an appointment and it takes months, you're losing months of benefits. And so, yes, people will lose benefits. And you can see, if all the regular viewers can attest, Stephen, that we have found tens of millions of dollars for people through these videos. And the reason I say we is because I don't do anything. I just sit here and tell you about all my experience doing this hundreds of thousands of times. And here's what you need to find: an independently entitled divorce spouse, and protective filing, and RibDib, and all this other kind of stuff. And we find money for people every single day, every single week. But I should be go back into retirement and not have to do this, but I do. But the only reason people find this information is because y'all share and like and subscribe, because we have to teach the stupid AI algorithm that this is important stuff that people need to see. So I can't do it myself. I can just sit here and talk all day, and it's up to y'all to get the information out there. So I appreciate you getting the information out there. My brother is going to be 69. And he said he won't get penalized for not having any Medicare since he gets insurance through his employer. Yep, that is correct. As long as his employer has 20 or more employees and he is currently working. So if it's through a retirement plan, then no, you will get penalized once you sign up for Part B. Angie, I turned 62 in April and began drawing $450 a month. My husband turned 62 in July and will draw approximately $2,100. If I file spouse benefits, can I receive 30% or 50%? Yeah, your benefit will be reduced. You will not receive the 50%, because in order to get the 50%, you have to wait until your full retirement age. So you're getting your benefits early, so it's going to be reduced. Yes. I'm turning 62 in November. Should I contact Social Security and SSI ahead of time? Yeah, a couple of 3 months before is plenty. When you turn 62, you have to be 62 the entire month. So if you were born November 1st, then you're good. You're 62 the entire month of November. If not, then your benefits will start in December, and you'll get your December check in January. So make sure you plan for that. And you can go online and file online or call Social Security and set up a phone appointment or in-office appointment, all the rest of it. I'm 55, applied for SSDI. If I get it, when could I expect my first CDR? It depends on when they determine. There's cycles, 3, 5, 7 years. So they'll you can ask them at that time, hey, when's my cycle for that? Ed, will Social Security being short-staffed cause us to lose our benefits? Is it if no one is available to wait on us at the Social Security, we will lose our benefits? Thanks. Yeah, if you're currently receiving your benefits, then Social Security being short-staffed won't be an issue with you. But if something happens, you lose your check, or you have to go back to work, or people early retirement or survivor benefits, and someone your spouse passes away, or you need to file for disability, that's the issue. Again, Social Security, their employees, their number one job is customer service, is taking care of people and making sure they're getting the benefits they're entitled to. But if nobody's there, then nobody's there, unfortunately. I'm already on SSA and SSI. Should I contact Social Security, et cetera, ahead of time if I turn 62? Oh, okay. So you're already on Social Security disability. So no, you don't need to do anything. You're good. Nothing. I did a video on this. I've got over 600 videos. I've done a video on pretty much everything. But when you're on disability benefits, when you turn 60, you should check to see if there's any surviving spouse benefits, divorced spouse benefits, surviving spouse benefits. When you're 62, you need to see if there's any spouse benefits or divorced spouse benefits living. When you're 65, you need to see if you can switch from a Medicare Advantage to a Medicare supplement plan. And then when you hit your full retirement age, probably 67 for you, then you need, you don't need to do anything, but your benefits will switch from disability to retirement benefits. Nobody after their full retirement age is receiving disability. They all switch to retirement benefits. The check and everything stays the same, so people don't realize this switch. Hi, Ed. I'm getting ready to retire and have some questions. I would like to get an appointment. Also, I would like to talk to your health insurance team. Perfect. Yep. Let me go ahead and I've got a little link here that has everything on it. Let me go ahead and put it on there again. 99.9% of my help personally is free through these live Q&As and stuff like that. But I do offer a very limited amount of private phone calls. So you can schedule it in that little link I put down there. And then also fill out the one that you need one-on-one Medicare help. And we can definitely help you out. Ed, we got our call answered yesterday about the SSDI. It is in the payment center, and they told us everything has been checked and is good. How long should it be after we see the right amount? Oh, the payment center. That's, passing the buck a little bit, but that could, unfortunately, knowing how the sausage is made, the payment centers are super short-staffed too. I think the payment centers are even more short-staffed than district offices. But yeah, it's unfortunately, nobody could tell you how long it's going to take it. You'd have to find that particular person's desk and see whether their stack of papers is this much or this much. It's not papers, it's electronic, but you get the gist. So yeah, unfortunately. November 9th. Is this about, again, I can only see a very small sliver of chats. So you have to be, okay, this is the one you're questioning about 62 the entire month. Yeah, so your benefits will start in December. Kim, if on SSI's site model at 66 in a month gave an estimate amount and says January 2026, does that mean I can get that month or have to wait till January? All right, not sure. Okay, so yeah, so you're not 62, so you don't have to be the 62 the entire month. That's not an issue. It says January. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the question is here. So everybody gets their benefits a month late. So if you start your benefits in December, your December check comes in January. If you start your benefits in January, your benefits, get your first check in February. Not completely happy with the particular plan she has. If I change to another health insurance in December but don't like it, will I be able to switch back to Kaiser Mark? Yeah, sorry, I read a name. I try to avoid talking about particular insurance companies. But yes, there is, you can change your plan from October 15th to December 7th. And this is, like I said, this is going to be a big one. So I really recommend you reach out to your agent or broker or us earlier the better and start figuring out, because there's a lot of people that are not going to be able to get help because there's just not a lot enough people out there to help you. So definitely try to do that as soon as possible. And then if you change it between October 15th and December 7th, the change will take effect January 1st. And then those 3 months, January, February, March, you have the chance to kind of do a mulligan and say, oops, but you can only do that one time. So yes, you can do that. After receiving SSDI, when they said 5-7 years before the review, is that the CDR? Yes, that sounds like it. Yes, usually it's 3, 5, 7 or so. But watch my video on CDRs, and please, please, please don't stress on CDRs. Yeah, because it's a budget issue. My employer no longer covers prescription drug once retired. Then yeah, you will need to get a standalone prescription drug plan at the very least. Is the person's credible insurance with Part A and Part B? Yes, the company you're talking about is a big, so that should, again, credible coverage for Part A and Part B is whether you have that health insurance from work, current work. It's not a retirement plan or a COBRA plan. My niece is collecting under her dad when she was young, but now collecting as an adult. She has kids. Can she collect for her kids? Probably not. If she's receiving disabled adult child benefits under her father because she became disabled before the age of 22, then there's no money there. If she eventually starts working, and then those benefits will stop, and maybe she could get disability on her own record. But then kids can get benefits on her record, but not from a grandparent. Would I be able to get prescription coverage at 64 when I retire? Employer no longer covers once retired. Yeah, the only thing you can do at 64 is the Affordable Care Act, ObamaCare, and then Medicare will start at 65. Let's see. Part A, yes, it's free, so why not? Yeah, free. It's nothing's really free, but the premium is zero premium. You paid for the FICA for Part A for decades. That's how, but there's gaps in Part A as well. If you go in the hospital, there's a $1,600, $1,632 deductible that you have to pay. Hi, I was married 4 years. He died after our divorce. I'm 60 and about to quit work for health options. Yeah, unfortunately, you would have to be, for a divorced spouse, you had to be married 10 years in order to get surviving spouse benefits because you were divorced, unfortunately. How many hours can I work if I draw Social Security disability insurance? It's not about the hours unless you're self-employed. If you're just a regular wage earner, then it's about the wages. And I did a video on that a couple of weeks ago, Social Security disability and working. So make sure you check that out. But the trigger month for the trial work period is 11/10, $1,110, and SGA, the substantial gainful activity this year, is $1,550. I was told Medicare pays for mattresses for people with back issues. Is this true? I've seen stranger things happening. I don't think original Medicare, but maybe a Medicare Advantage might have something in there, depending on the particular company and the doctor and your particular situation. But on any of that, it doesn't hurt to try. And what you do is you essentially get a prescription, just like a drug prescription. You go to your doctor, and doctor says this person needs this special whatever because of this issue, and they submit it and see what happens. I'm waiting for my disability to be approved. If approved, will it be retroactive? It really depends when you filed and when they determine your disability onset date to be. I'm on SSDI. Can I file for divorce spouse benefits? I am 65. He is 63. Yes, there we go. I'm trying to get the word out there. I know there's tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars being lost here. People that are on disability think that's all they can get. I did a video on this. It says the title of it is like two checks. So yes, you can, even if you're getting disability at 60 years old, if you're married to someone and they passed away, or you can get surviving spouse benefits. So you'll continue to get your disability, and then on top of it, you'll get X amount of extra money for surviving spouse benefits. And then because you're on disability, your Medicare won't stop. People think that, well, I don't want to get surviving spouse benefits or divorce spouse benefits or anything like that because I'm on disability. And if I do that, my disability will stop. And no, you will still get disability. You'll just get more money as a surviving spouse. And then at 62, you can get money as a living spouse, that your spouse or your divorced spouse is still alive and kicking. You can get extra money there. So yes, if there's more money, they'll have to do the calculation and see how much you're receiving and how much the benefit on the other record is. But please, yes, yes, yes. It's still early. It's 3:47 West Coast time. Call Social Security, set up an appointment, and get your money, and then come back here and say, hey, thank you to all the people that liked and subscribed. That's how I was able to see this Brad Pitt looking guy with all the hair. Do you help people file for SSDI? No. But I guess I do. I did 3 or 4 videos on the entire process and the appeals process and tips, tricks, and secrets. So watch those. The first 2 stages are relatively easy. I don't recommend a lawyer. You can get one if you want, but pay them $7,000 for something you can basically do. They'll just ask you the same questions that, the internet application, or your if you schedule an appointment. So watch those videos and then file sooner rather than later. Please don't wait, because you're going to be waiting, 6 to 9 months for a decision. As we used to say in the Marine Corps, hurry up and wait. Yeah, it's unfortunate. All right, let's see. You're amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge. I appreciate it. Thank you. All-Star, I got approved for SSDI this year at 63 years old. Will I get a CDR? Yes, eventually. Well, right now they put a hold on CDRs because the staffing is so low. The commissioner said, yeah, let's not do CDRs because we've got tons of initial claims we need to adjudicate and process and develop. But yeah, conceivably in however many years. And then again, remember, once you're on your full retirement age, then your disability stops and you start getting a retirement check, same amount of check and everything like that. Most people don't even recognize the change. And also, if you've been approved for SSDI, I don't know how much of retroactive you got, but for instance, let's say they gave you 2 years of retroactive and they say, okay, we've determined you became disabled 2 years ago. Your Medicare is going to start this month, because your Medicare starts 2 years after your disability benefits begin. So you need to start planning for that. Figure out what you want to do in terms of, Medicare supplement, Medicare Advantage. Unfortunately, in most states, people under the age of 65 cannot get Medicare Advantage plans, or excuse me, Medicare supplement plans. The only thing they can get are Medicare Advantage plans. Is Social Security considered income? Not sure in what Social Security income in terms of the annual earnings limit. No. Social Security in terms of SGA for SSDI. No. Is it for IRS? It really depends on your other income. Well, it is income for the IRS, but it really depends what you're talking about. Ed, I have an adult son with autism who does work full time. Is he eligible to receive survivor benefits due to his father's death? If he's under 18, yes. If he became disabled under the age of 22, yes, but he's working full time, so they would probably deny him because he would have to be disabled before the age of 22. And if he's working full time, That's the definition, disability for Social Security is the inability to work. So if he's working, unfortunately, doesn't sound like it. So, Ed, love what you're doing here. Such a help. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm wondering if, for example, I decide to go on SSDI, I'll be 64 in December. If I get better, let's say, and work until maybe 70, will I lose all my SSDI? You will lose everybody loses their SSDI once they hit their full retirement age. Again, it's just a bureaucratic thing where they stop taking your money out of the Social Security Disability Trust Fund and start taking it out of the retirement trust fund. So, but the benefit of that is here's how a lot of people out there, please share, tell people. People are losing so much money because people coming in all the time and contact me and say, hey, I'm 70 years old and I'm on disability, and I've turned down a few little jobs. I could have done a little bit of this, I could have done a little bit of that would have really helped me out, but because I'm on disability, I didn't take those jobs. I'm like, no, you just lost all that money, because you're no longer on disability. Your disability benefits stopped years ago. You're just regular old retirement, full retirement age retirement. You have no more work limitations at all. You can do whatever you want. You can make $1 billion a month. So I'm sure you know someone that knows someone that is in that situation. Yeah, and was it the 7 degrees or 5 degrees of Kevin Bacon or something? So please share that information, and they'll share it with somebody else and share it with somebody else, and it will make their lives easier. So these two, working full time, have health insurance through work, reached my full retirement age, will hold off for another year to collect Social Security. Can I apply for Medicare Part B now? Yes. Working full time, have health insurance through work. Yeah, but if you have health insurance from work, and you're happy with it, your employer has 20 or more employees, don't waste the money. Once you stop working, then you can go ahead and sign up for it. Again, that is if you like your plan. If your plan from work is terrible, it's got a crazy deductible and all that kind of stuff, then Part B might be better for you. But if you want, yeah, absolutely. You can sign up for just Part A, the zero premium, the hospital part, and then refuse Part B, and refuse the money and just say, yeah, I just want Part A. I don't want B, and I don't want the money. I'll come back when I stop working and start receiving health insurance to get Part B. And then I'll come back a year or two later to get the money started. So you can separate it. So no problem whatsoever. I talk a lot with my hands, don't I? I've been collecting Medicare. Now I'm going to file for Social Security online. What's the normal time to get approved? Yeah, see the example right there. So this person signed up for Medicare and says at that time, hey, I don't want money. I'll call you back later for money. So now Joseph is calling back for money. For an online, for your particular case, it'll be quick, easy, because you've already done the hard part. When you signed up for Medicare, that's when they, checked your name and date of birth and all that kind of stuff, make sure, identify you. So you're in the system in MCS, as they're called. You're in the computer system. So to start your benefits is super, super easy. So no problem whatsoever. So if you're entitled to benefits this month in August and you file today, then you'll receive your check in a couple of weeks. It's pretty easy. Sorry, I meant just trying to see on site at different ages what would get, and they had the month year, I'd get the amount, but only gave the month and year. Yeah, it's only the month and year, it's not the day. So the day doesn't really matter unless you're 62, that the whole month type thing. But yeah, your benefits increase every single month. Some people think that, if they wait, they have to wait an entire 12 months to get their benefits increased. No, every single month. And another thing people think is they have to wait till their birthday to get that increase, delayed increase. No, every single month from 62 until 70, every single month you delay receiving benefits, your benefits go up a little bit. FYI, it took me a year to get monies from the payment center. Yes. That's why I was kind of yeah, cagey about that. Unfortunately, that's uh, they really need to change the computer system to where local offices can do a lot more and adjudicate and get people paid. But the local offices are so understaffed, and so yeah, yeah, it's unfortunate, and it's only going to get worse if that act passes. If I sign up for Obamacare, how long does it take to go into effect? I turned 65 in December 4th. Waste of time and money. No, it pretty quick. Yeah, if you call them up today, benefits should start in September next month. Yep. And if you need help with that, I've got a person that does several different states, might be able to help you out with that. If you get your benefit at 62 and wait until your full retirement age to get your spousal benefits, then you will get the full 50%. Right. Yep. If you start spouse benefits at your full retirement age, you do get full 50%. I have a question. I have Advantage program prior, now turned 65, signed up for supplemental plan. Can I cancel my Advantage now, seeing I am paying for a supplemental plan? Yes. Yeah, that should have already happened. They can't sell you both like that. You have to cancel your Medicare Advantage. Usually it's automatic when you sign up for a Medicare supplement plan and then the Part D plan. They notified CMS, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and they see that you're in a Medicare Advantage plan, and they notify your Medicare Advantage plan. Yeah, but you can also reach out to, wherever, and just kind of give them a heads up just in case. All right. I turned 65 in May and signed up for Part A and Part B. I received a bill for $873, which I paid. Now I got notification from Social Security saying they're going to deduct $873 again out of my first check. Why? Okay. So, 170, so two fours, $873. So I wonder if you have an IRMA. The IRMA is the extra premium because you made a lot of money 2 years ago and you're being charged extra for the Part B premium. Maybe that's it. Or they're charging you for 4 months, $174 divided by, or 873 divided by four. Yeah. So that sounds like it's a IRMA issue, the extra Part B premium for high wage earners. And high wage earners, is based on your income from 2 years ago. So if you made $1 million 2 years ago, or 200, 300, 400,000, or whatever 2 years, or sold a house 2 years ago, capital gains, then your Part B premium is going to be more. But if you have since stopped working, then you might qualify for what's called a life changing event. You fill out a SSA 44, and yeah, you can get that changed. But you should have received a letter as well that says, hey, or in that letter, it should say breakdown of where that $873 came from. If someone has a Medicare Advantage plan, is there any kind of insurance you can buy to fill in the gaps in coverage with a Medicare Advantage plan? Yes, there are called hospital indemnity. So if you have a Medicare Advantage plan that charges a lot for hospital, you can pay not very much per month to get a hospital indemnity plan to cover those gaps. There's cancer insurance. You can do separate dental and vision. Yes, there's all kinds of different things you can get to. Let me pull this out. All right. I'm asking, how are Social Security benefits calculated? Is it your high 35 years or something else? Your high 35 years. I can't remember what you said previously. Yep, your high 35 years. If you're talking just regular old retirement benefits, it's your high 35 years. They take the averaged indexed monthly earnings. So if you made $20,000, scooping ice cream at 20 years old, you're like, yeah, I made $80,000 last year. So that's definitely more than $20,000 when I was 20. No, with inflation, that $20,000 is probably $120,000 now. So they take it and they index it and the high 35 years, and then they do some math, and that's how they come up with your benefit. Thanks, Ed, for answering my question. Keep up the fine work and take care. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I have been receiving Social Security disability for many years. I am 64 now. Can I apply for my husband's benefits? He is also 64 and not planning to draw to 67. No, because you're currently married, receive spouse benefits until your current spouse, ex-divorce spouse, then you can, but like you're still married now. So you have to wait until he files before you can file for spouse benefits. Hey Carmen, I'll be 65 next year. Do I need to register for Medicare? I am still working with medical insurance. Nope. If you're happy with that health insurance, it's through current work. Your employer has 20 more employees. Nope, you're good. So you don't have to do anything if you don't want to. You can, if you want, sign up for Part A. But if you sign up for Part A, the only thing you watch out for, if you're contributing to an HSA, a health savings account, you have to stop that health savings account 6 months before you start your Part A. But if you're not, then you don't have to do anything. Will my SSDI payments be taxed? Yeah, I don't do taxes. I will work 1 week in September, then vacation out the rest of the month. Can I start my retirement on September 1st or have to wait until October? If you've already gone over the annual earnings limit, the $22,320, then the first month you go under the monthly, which is $1,860, 22,320 divided by 12. So if in September your earnings, your actual earnings for that particular month is under 1860, you can start your benefits in September. So, but if you get paid in September for work you did the month prior, don't count that. It's only work in September. So, all right, we are over an hour. Let me see. Let me get one more question from someone. Yeah, I've got a lot more questions here. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. I will be back again tomorrow. So if I missed your question here, I apologize. Come back tomorrow. First thing, pop in your question as soon as I start talking. And that way I can definitely get to it. But let's go one last question here. Susan, I am 64 on Social Security disability. I was told my Social Security disability will change to Social Security automatic when you're full retirement age, but I should be getting my ex's Social Security next month. What will happen to my Medicare and Medicaid next month? Medicare, nothing will happen. The disability, when it switches from disability to retirement, it'll be the same amount, same check. Your Medicare will continue, no issues whatsoever. You won't even probably notice the change. Medicaid, that's a whole different thing. It depends how much you get from your ex's account. If you only get $102 and you're still qualified for Medicaid, then you'll still get Medicaid. But if you get another $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever from your ex, then that could possibly put you over the allowable limits. So, all right. Yeah, sorry, we've got a lot more questions, but we ran out of time. So join me back here to